So you want to build an amethyst cluster farm? No problem, I have just the farm for you, and it is very, very simple. It will completely harvest one face of your amethyst cluster completely automatically. So let's get into how you do it. In order to build this farm, you're going to need the following items: 7 non-stackable items. I'm using wooden swords because they're cheap. 2 sticky pistons, 1 piston, 1 observer, 1 redstone block, 2 repeaters, 2 comparators, 2 droppers, 1 hopper, 7 pieces of redstone dust, and 11 pieces of white concrete or another type of solid block. So let's assume you've found yourself a piece of budding amethyst in the world. No doubt you've found a geode and mined all the way around it to get it on its own, and the first thing we're going to do is place a temporary block on top and then place an observer facing into that temporary block. We can then get rid of that temporary block, put a sticky piston behind there and a redstone block on the back of that. Then we place 3 more temporary blocks underneath that piece of redstone block and then put a dropper facing upwards on top of that temporary block. Then we're going to place a hopper facing downwards inside that, and then we're going to put 4 wooden swords into that hopper. They're not going to go down into that dropper because the redstone block is blocking them from doing that. We're then going to place 6 pieces of concrete or your solid block there, put 1 above this corner here and break the block underneath it because you don't need that anymore. And then we're going to put 2 pieces of solid block in front of our dropper here. We're then going to place a temporary block there with a block above it, break the temporary block and put a block next to that one. And next to this block, we're going to have a sticky piston. And in front of that sticky piston, we're going to put another dropper. Now in that dropper, we're going to put 3 swords. Now what we're going to do is grab our comparators, have a comparator coming out of our second dropper and a comparator coming out of our first dropper with the light at the front turned on. So clicking it like that to invert it. Now what we're going to do is place a repeater going into this dropper here and a repeater coming out of this solid block here, and then just wire everything up with your redstone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all we need is 1 block here with a piece of redstone on, that's your 7th, and then your final piston here coming out of that, and that is this farm 100% complete. So the way this works is the amethyst clusters have 4 stages of growth. You've got the small one, the medium, the large one, and the full amethyst cluster. What the observer's doing is counting those. So the first stage of growth, it's going to count 1. One of the swords is going to drop into that dropper there. And basically what we've got here is a comparison with these comparators saying, has this dropper got more swords in than that one? So this one's got 3 swords. When that one's got 4 swords in, this comparator here will activate, basically activating our clock, making this piston pop out, which will push off the amethyst shard, and then it will reset the system using this comparator clock here. This sticky piston pushes this dropper away so that it's not interfering with our system while it's going on, but it does look kind of weird when it's running. So let's simulate this. If we break it again, that's technically the second stage of growth, the third stage of growth, and then the 4th stage of growth. You'll see this piston will pop out a few times, and those ones will, but then when we look back in the hopper, all 4 swords are there. So the best way to simulate this would be to turn up the random tick speed so you can see what's going on, and you will see 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then it's harvested. So there we go. This system works very well. The only thing it's missing is a collection system, and that should be pretty easy. Now, there are lots of different ways you could do a collection system for this. You could literally put hoppers around the whole thing and hope that they fall in the hoppers. The way I'm going to do it is to glitch a hopper minecart inside of this amethyst block. So the first thing I'm going to do is place a couple of temporary blocks. I'm going to place a block here, and then I'm going to break this one and put a hopper underneath there. And then I'm going to put another couple of temporary blocks there like that, and a solid block behind this amethyst here. Then I'm going to get some rail like that. I'm going to put a hopper minecart on there, and I'm just going to push it down inside that amethyst cluster there. So then I can get rid of most of these blocks, although you might want to keep one there to keep your minecart in place. You might even want to put a couple around the outside just to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere when this thing is running. Then you can put your chest down there. Bear in mind it's not going to open here because I've got that block on top of it. So what I might want to do is pull that one more block forward and put another hopper there so that I can actually access the chest. So now all I'm going to do is just build a little wall around there like that, just so that the amethyst cluster can't fall out, or the amethyst shard when it's produced can't fall out. And now they should all hopefully go into this chest. So let's check this out. I'll turn the random tick speed up again. We'll watch this thing grow. And there we go, it's been harvested. And if we look inside the chest now, you'll see there are 2 amethyst shards in there. So obviously the downside to this system is it is relatively inefficient. You only get back 2 amethyst shards per cluster, which obviously with the clusters taking forever to grow is pretty slow compared to the fact that you will get 16 back when you break it with Fortune 3. However, you can improve this by doubling it up. This is just for one side of the shard. So coming over to this one, you can see I actually have the exact same machine set up on both sides of the budding amethyst, allowing us to harvest from the top and the bottom at the same time. And yes, there's no collection system on here, but again, it wouldn't be too difficult to chuck a couple of hopper minecarts down there and make sure that we're collecting absolutely everything. So there you go, a very quick and very easy amethyst shard farm that is 100% completely automatic. All you've got to do is go AFK. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.